Welcome to Ladies of Another View, and I'm here today with Cedar on the end, April in the middle, and Patty on the other end. And later on in the show today, I'm so excited about our lighter side. It's about a 4-year-old who brought his neighborhood community together in just the sweetest way. So you're not going to want to miss that. And then later on, Murray Sabrin will be joining us to talk about America at 2:50 and sharing some. He's such a historian and economist, and he has stuff to talk about both the economy and bits of history that you may not know. But first, I'm really excited, first-time guest here, Dr. John Cuddeback. And he is the author of The Intentional Household. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks so much, Patty. Great to be here.
And the subtitle is Living as If People Matter. Whoa, what a great idea, John. We love it, and it's what we're all about. We're going on 6 years of this show, and when we started, we felt like there wasn't the voice, family, life, family values. Now they're called conservative values. They used to be mainstream values. And your book kind of talks about throwing back to what used to be just an expectation of families living together, working together, and supporting one another. Tell us what this book is about, first of all.
Yeah, well, I mean, in short, Patty, and again, thank you, April, Cedar, great to be with you. It's about retrieving a wisdom that should be ordinary, but has been kind of set aside. It's kind of been put in the dustbin, even by many who know they want something different. They actually find themselves not. We've been disconnected from, again, what was ordinary, extraordinarily beautiful, extraordinarily rich. God's plan for daily life in the household. You couldn't make this stuff up. But now those simple things, that sitting on the porch together, the kind of rich meals together, sitting around the fire, working in the garden, working in the kitchen. These things, they're not peripheral. They're central to human life. We can rediscover it. We can do these things in its own way now in our current circumstances. That's what the book is about.
So I know family has not really been the center, right? When I was growing up, we were always told the more you work, the harder you'll get ahead. And work. And if you take a nap, you're a loser and you'll only get ahead by working really hard, right? And your family really doesn't matter. Your relationships don't really matter. And honestly, like my family, I have always loved my family, but I know, like, I already ordered your book because I'm pretty excited about it. I literally just put the next year of my life is deliberate elimination, which is being very intentional, because I have eliminated so many things that should be core to my life. And all that being said, I want to come back to the center. I want to be able to slow down. I want to be able to take time. How is your book going to help me? I need you.
April, thank you. And I am here for you. Here's the thing. This is something that should be right there. It's basic principles. The reason it's going to be so helpful for you and others is because it expresses clear principles. Because today, especially, if we're going to be intentional, we have to know what we're about. These things aren't going to happen by accident. We're going to have to orchestrate it. We're going to have to craft a good life. In earlier cultures, it might have been a little bit easier because that's, in general, the flow was going a little bit more in a good direction. Key now, absolutely not. We're in a situation where so many things are working against those fundamental goods. We're not living as if people matter. This isn't just a slogan. If we really thought that what's most important is most important, namely becoming a certain kind of person, having certain kinds of relationships, we would be prioritizing the home. We're not. And even those who want to find it difficult to figure out how to. So it's going to be very helpful because it's going to bring back, remind you of certain principles that are perennial. It's not about looking back, except if we need to be reminded of certain things, understand those principles better, and then talk about applying them today. It's all about doing it in our current context. That's what the book is about.
So, John, as you may know, there is a mental health crisis among people around my age and younger because there's no places to hang out communally. There's just
and Cedar is a college student.
Yep, I'm in college. Yeah. I'm 19. Right. There's no communal hangout spaces anymore, like arcades or anything. Nobody really goes to bowling alleys anymore either, and it's because Would you say it's also because there's not intentionality in the family household? Is your book aimed at helping this mental health crisis among the younger generation too?
It is. Honestly, Cedar, in a sense, that's what it's all about. I mean, we know what life is about by looking to the young and the elderly. This is the beauty of God's plan. And so I spend my time with people your age. I love you all. And the bottom line is you need something out there in the broader society too. This book isn't solving every problem, but it's starting at the root of it. And it's helping people do something different in their homes, which would directly address the mental health crisis because everything begins in the home. So we need to go back and really be serious and ask again, concretely, specifically, what are we doing? Not just, well, we think home is important. No, how are we doing it? What are we doing every day? Household is about daily life. How are we going to change it? Give people like you a sense of belonging, who you are, connection, responsibility, purpose.
You know, I neglected to add that the reason you hang out with people Cedar's age is that you are a professor, Dr. John Cuddeback, and he teaches philosophy at Christendom College, which is a more conservative college. So you probably are seeing a lot of young people maybe coming from intact families and that intentionality, but probably not completely, I'm guessing.
Right.
And there are sometimes single parent homes too. And I'm thinking, as we talk, I'm thinking about a documentary I was watching, and I forget even what it was about, but I just remember there was a single mom and her daughter, and she was saying, well, we're trying to work on eating dinner together. And I thought, well, what do you mean? She would sit somewhere and eat her dinner, and her daughter would take her plate of food into her room. And I thought, how are you working on that? It's not happening. Either you do it or you don't do it. And so talk about the fact that we are broken in many different ways, but it doesn't mean we can't try to do better with that intentional living within our families, right?
Amen. Amen. This is the thing. At one and the same time, we have to keep two things in tension. Things are very broken, and it's very much in our power to address it. This is by a design of God. This is what's written into nature. I love to say with the philosophers, we can go back to the ancient Greeks. Human nature is always on our side. It's speaking to us. It's always reminding us of those root things that we need. The nature of household, we didn't make it up. It looks different in different cultures, but it's fundamental outlines that we eat together, that we work together, that we take real leisure time together. This flows forth from who we are, and who we are is always calling for us. And this is why Cedar's reference to the mental health crisis. This is nature speaking. This is people calling out from their depths. They need something different. They're designed for something different. And so it should be. It's again a wisdom that's right there, but we're going to take that and we're going to apply it today. We're going to recognize, yep, even so many who want something different, the more, quote, conservative families I deal with, the pain, the suffering. That's why I'm so glad that you said that, Cedar. How many young men have a good relationship with their father? Full stop, question mark, exclamation point. And that's just one example.
So I know that you refer to the home being the school of responsibility. Can you go into that a little bit more? And I know you kind of started it there.
We only have one
Yeah, no.
minute, but
Okay.
we can pick it up if you just give us a little soundbite to start.
I'll give you a soundbite. Home is the home of responsibility. If we're seeing a lack of responsibility in all the other areas of life, economically, in the office, etc., it's because we are not taking responsible for the first and most important things. We're not living as if people matter, beginning in the root home of human life. And so it's especially when children see people taking responsibility for them in the home in rich, concrete ways, they get a sense of purpose and responsibility in life. That's why it's the heart of the renewal.
Okay, perfect lead in, because we're going to take a break, and then I want to know some examples of concrete ways. So, like, how do we go about this? It sounds really good, but what does that look like when we come back?
Amen.
Find your path to discovery, adventure, and inspiration in Lemon, South Dakota. Immerse yourself in the charm and beauty of the region's natural resources. Unearth eras of history. Explore the unique attractions and world-renowned creations. Come see for yourself what makes this community a great getaway and an even greater place to make your home. Whether you're here for a day or for a lifetime, you can find your path in Lemon, South Dakota.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
Yeah, U.S. Cattlemen is a member organization that each member has a vote in anything we do with policy. We're representing the independent cattleman or the cow-calf guy or an independent feeder or whatever. We like to support the independent producer. Talking about mandatory ID, we're talking about cool, we're talking about all the legislation that's going to be coming down with the new administration. There's going to be lots of moving and shaking, so always check us out at our website, uscattleman.org.
Come on in and experience small town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car, whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute. We have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and the team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. The Set Motors, where our customers send their friends.
When I first decided to invest in gold, I was a bit nervous and unsure how to start. Luckily, I found Noble Gold Investments. From the very first call, they made investing easy. No pushy sales tactics, no gimmicks, and no confusing free silver offers with hidden fees. Just honest advice tailored to my needs, giving me confidence every step of the way. If you're new to gold investing or want a partner you can trust, visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
Welcome to where classy meets Wild West. Buffalo Gypsy Boutique of Bismarck has clothing, decor, and gifts ranging from sophisticated boho style to fun and flashy. Our exclusive brands such as Scully, Double D Ranch, and Tanner Mark provide standout style for the whole family, right down to the little ones. We always have a great selection of Kimes denim, and we proudly offer American-made jewelry and artwork. Find Buffalo Gypsy classing up North Bismarck just off Highway 83.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, and I want to welcome back our guest, Dr. John Cuddeback, who is a philosophy professor at Christendom College. And we're talking about his book, The Intentional Household. Welcome back to the show, John. And I got to mention the subtitle, Living as If People Matter, because it's like, oh, yeah, you read that and you think, I want to do that. I want that. And sometimes you want it, but you don't know how to get there, and you're trapped in your routines or your bad habits. So before we went to the break, we were talking about responsibility begins in the home. And nowadays, how the family makeup is so different, and even if there are two parents in the home, responsibility isn't always front and center. So what can we do in families to do that, to make it a fun place, but also a responsible place too?
Right. So here's the thing, Patty. This obviously this is big. Life is beautiful, and it's in a sense simple, but it's going to take our really thinking about it and our being intentional. Work. We need to rethink the place of work in human life. Couple quickies. One of the big problems we have is, in general, we have separated work from the home. We've kind of depersonalized it. We've corporationalized it. We've kind of made it be out there. And so when people think of work, they think of something they do away from home. This is one of the main reasons our homes have been eviscerated. They've been emptied out. So let's begin simple. We need to bring back some of the home arts. You don't have to pretend that you're living in the past. Home arts are perennial. They're for the present. Cooking is a very important home art. Hospitality is a key home art. Growing food in the garden. These are examples of the kinds of things that are a context for forming responsibility. They're context for forming relationship. People will smile, but I explain in the book, I decided, this is just an example, I decided to raise hogs and slaughter them in our household, Not primarily because I want a good pork, which I do, and which we now have, but primarily because I knew there's going to be a great context to work together as a family and forge deeper relationships with my children. So we just need to be savvy and rethink good, simple work in our home. Great starting point.
So I would love to go into your point on leisure versus amusement, because I have a feeling it sounds like a lot of the work can be done to make a household intentional is in that leisure time. And like April said earlier, there's a stigma around people taking naps now because it's not seen as leisure or it's not done right. But and I'm also going over leisure right now in one of my classes doing summer semester, and
Good.
they describe it as an act of taking you out of yourself and like going to something bigger than yourself. So how would you describe it based on that definition, and how would you give examples of leisure in the household that can create a more intentional household?
Cedar, you must be in a good class. That was a great question.
Yep.
I'm so glad you asked it, because honestly, it takes us right to the heart of things. Renewing work is going to be, but the other side of the work coin is the leisure one. And to see what leisure is, we have to go back to the ancients, and the great Christian tradition brings this out also, and other traditions do too. You said brings you out of yourself. I'm going to put it in a slightly different but very complementary way. Leisure is the activity where you're most alive. It's the activity that is most worthwhile in itself. It's for its own sake. Work is great. It has great dignity, but ultimately it's about producing something outside the activity. Leisure activities in the rich sense, which we've lost, all that we know of now or think in terms of now other than work is amusement. So we have this great lack in our lives now where we work, and it's not even the richer kind of work often that it could and should be. Then we need that rest, and we're kind of emptied out. So then we just kind of go to amusement. Amusement in itself is not bad, but it's more of just a light diversion. At the end of the day, leisure is much richer than being a light diversion. Great simple example, stargazing together as a family. This isn't just a light diversion. This is a rich way to be together and to lean into something very beautiful and powerful. Telling rich stories, reading a story aloud. Worship is the highest form of leisure. These activities are the ones that endure. These are the ones that we're most made for. Again, home is the natural home of responsibility. It's the natural home of good work. It's the natural home of true leisure, that porch time, that spending time as a family, that lingering after a meal. This isn't accidental. This is crucial to us learning and practicing what we're made for.
Amen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
And I have a large family, and that time together lifts you up, especially as a parent. But I have 10 kids, and I have a son with his family of 6 that just moved back to Bismarck after being in Colorado. And we love together and have fun and laugh. And I can see how that's different than just entertainment of people. Because it's like you're disconnected. We'll go to the movies or something, but if you watch a movie, you're not really connecting with each other, even though you're in the same room and you're enjoying it together, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that interaction, I think there's something psychological beyond just taking a break from work that lifts you up. I don't know if there's any studies on that, but I would think that.
Patty, I think you're absolutely spot on. And the reality is, we're going to have to make that happen. Again, the point of intentionality is the most important things in life. They're gifts, they're being offered to us, but they don't happen by accident. When I speak on friendship, I love to say true friendship comes to those who know what they're looking for and thus how to go about getting it. This is true more than ever as regards to kind of rich life in the household, that central community of human life. It's going to come to those. We're never going to be perfect. There's always going to be failures and blemishes wherever we are. We can start here. What are we going to do to move the needle, to enrich our lives? That kind of leisure time is so life giving. Again, it's a context for people to realize what they were made for, what life is really most of all about. We start tasting that. And it's not just about the young. We learn if we prioritize the young, and by the way, also the elderly, which is so key, we're actually always doing what's best for ourselves too. It's an amazing, beautiful, life-giving design.
Dr. John, so what if we didn't come from this beautiful white picket fence house that's full of intention? Because once again, I'm still learning how to live functionally and intentionally and learning how to like expand beyond trying to build and survive, right? So is your book going to help the people out there that didn't have a good example of what a household is? Because I feel like nowadays there's more people that don't have a good example than do. And we need you.
Amen. Honestly, it is actually going to work for both, because even those who already are trying to be intentional, the way times are now, we haven't brought up the technology question. I think I give some really helpful context, because you need to understand the richness of good work, the richness of true leisure, if we're going to think clearly about what to do about the whole technology thing. But yes, April, it doesn't matter. And I've seen this again and again, and I'm here to bring the good news. We can start from wherever we are. And of course, as we all know, part of maturity is recognizing often comparisons are odious. Okay, some other people might be ahead of me. How many times do I say to the students in the classroom, I don't care if there's someone smarter than you. What are you going to do? Sit around and complain about that? Or are you going to lean into and start from where you are? Let's do this. Wherever we are, human nature is calling out for this. Our life is calling out for this. Those we love are calling out for us. These are the principles that we all, according to where we are, we can say, that's a beautiful, that's astounding, that's inspiring, that moves me. We're going to start crafting this because we're going to really live as though what's most important is most important. I keep coming back to that. It's a beautiful, beautiful reality.
So back to the technology, how old do you think children should be before they get phones? And do you think they should even have phones at all before they are adults? We only have 1 minute, so.
Sleater, thank you for asking that. And I'm not going to flake out on here. I'm not going to give you an exact age, but I'm going to say this. Parents have got to ask themselves that question, and they got to push themselves. But they're going to need to say a no. I am convinced that you're going to have to, in any case, hold back, especially those smartphones, for a certain length of time. How long? You're only going to be able to say that appropriate no if we have a strong yes. What's the yes? It's the richness of these positive things. That's what the young need to be offered. If we don't offer that to them, then they're not going to be able, not going to have the strength, they're not going to be willing to turn away from these glitzy things that are so powerfully attracting them. It is going to take saying some no's in order to lean into the yes. But yep, I mean, honestly, ideally, you're going to put that smartphone off until getting well on towards college. But hey, some people might say, oh, I can't do that. Well, then you're going to do what you can in the situation that you are. We're social animals.
Mm-hmm. And you can get phones that don't go on the internet, dumb phones. They're out there.
Amen.
So
that's all part of it.
That is an option. So, John, thank you so much. I loved having you on. I hope we can visit with you again in the future. There's so much to talk about. We just scratched the surface. Mm-hmm. So, once again, The Intentional Household, available through Ignatius Press and probably just about most bookstores, so you can have them order it. So, thank you, John. And when we come back, we're going to talk with Dr. Murray Sabrin about America at 250 and some historical stuff you might not know about, so don't go away.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
When there's a storm on the horizon, you typically don't get a lot of advance notice. So you brace yourself as best you can and rebuild when it's over. Times like these are what insurance is for, the protection of our livelihoods, our families, our homes, and our lives. We support our community coming together in times of need. As an independent insurance agency, we tailor our services to your needs. At Dakota Community Insurance, we can help you weather the storm. Talk to one of our agents today.
We are the St. Mary Sisters. We are building a new facility here in Bismarck, North Dakota, for the sake of training young women to be courageous teachers in this state. The sisters will educate the younger generation to be fully alive through truth and discipline. The sisters' life of devotion and joy will make a positive difference in your community. Check out what we're up to, see what's going on, and join our mission to make a difference in the lives of the children of North Dakota.
Let's be frank, it's a pain to be without your vehicle after an accident. That's why you should take it to Jerome's Collision Center. Our shop is supersized and we have the qualified staff to fill it up and work on your vehicle, step by step, piece by piece, in crazy fast time without sacrificing quality. When you need us, we'll turn your bad experience into a good one. We're Jerome's Collision Center and we're the best at what we do.
Hey, I'm Corey Heppola, and I grew up in a small town.
This road used to be gravel.
But a long time ago, I left to live in a big city. Now, I wonder...
Just because we're small doesn't mean we can't have nice things.
What would it be like to move back?
Man, it's mad love up in here.
So, I'm traveling to different small towns across the Midwest to find out. Because what do I really know about rural living? Oh. The people.
If there is anything that you can say about this town, it's that we take care of each other.
The innovation.
So none of this equipment even existed.
And the opportunities.
It's like every year in the spring, there's always like a revitalization of just excitement.
This is my town.
Pull! Oh, jeez! You were close.
7 episodes. Sunday night, 6:30 on Beck TV.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, and I want to welcome back our guest, Dr. Murray Sabrin, who is a emeritus professor of finance at Ramapo College, and he's the author of Finance of Healthcare, Navigating the Boom Bust Cycle, and From Immigrant to Public Intellectual, An American Story. And he's just a real history buff. We've had him on before. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Murray.
Great to be with you, Patty, and the ladies.
Hello. Okay, I've been promising like you're going to share some little known facts that a lot of people don't realize. So I'm giving you the floor. What have you got for us?
Well, some people have made the argument that Declaration or Independence Day should be really May 15th because on that day, the Continental Congress basically said that we should be independent from Britain. And then they charged Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and several other founders to write the Declaration, which Jefferson did based upon the Virginia Declaration of Rights. It's basically verbatim, and then it was tweaked a little bit by Franklin and others, and then it was approved by Continental Congress on July 2nd, and then it was announced to the public on July 4th, but it wasn't signed until August. So you could make the case that the Declaration or the Independence Day could be anywhere from May to August. Having said that, this was one of the greatest achievements in human history because it basically said human beings are free and independent individuals and that we have the right to self-government and that the government should represent the people, or the people should have the opportunity to elect who they want in order to have a government that is going to be bound by that fundamental principle of individual sovereignty, protecting property rights, and allowing people to engage in peaceful, voluntary activity.
Well, I think that introduces us into an article that you've written up on your Substack. If you want to connect with Dr. Sabrin, it's murraysabrin.substack.com. And you introduced the 4th of June Declaration of Re-Independence Day. What is that about?
Well, what I did was I went through the federal budget. I went through basically all the policies of the federal government. And I said, how does the policies and the federal budget and what the Federal Reserve does compared to what the founders saw was the problem with our relationship with Great Britain? And I said, we are so overgoverned that the current state of the Union is a far away place from where the founders envisioned America, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's why I created a podcast, wealth, health, and the pursuit of happiness, or health, wealth, and pursuit of happiness. And I outline in the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration 2.0, that we are basically become subservient to the federal government between the taxes we pay, the regulations that we have to abide by, and the limits on our activities, plus the invasion of our privacy with the tax code, with the IRS, and all the surveillance that takes place in the United States that stems from the Patriot Act after 9/11. So we have a lot of work to do if we want to get back to the vision of the Founding Fathers, and that's what I'm doing in my Substack, is to get the message out. I've written a half a dozen letters that have been published in the Wall Street Journal, really articulating the position that we have to have. If we want to have a free society, here's what that means. It means we take care of ourselves, our family, we work in our community, and we decentralize decision-making instead of having the federal government trying to give us all these benefits, which we know are unsustainable. And the perfect example of that is Social Security and Medicare. The trust funds are going to be empty in 6 years. And if you look at these entitlement programs, I consider them entitlement programs with Medicaid and other programs, that, first of all, they're unconstitutional. There's nothing in the Constitution that authorizes the federal government to create these programs, but they're financially not viable. And that's the really essence of these programs, is they take away from people their ability to save for their future and provide for their needs on a basis that the founders envisioned. It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
So I have a question. I have two questions. First of all, what is a Substack? I hate to ask that, but I don't know. So, like, I don't know what that is.
It's a huge place for social media and people writing articles instead of doing all the blogs. Lots of people have gone over to Substack. How would you explain it?
Because if we want to find you, or our viewers want to find you.
Yeah, Substack is basically a platform for independent writing. You don't need anyone's permission. Anyone can create a Substack post. You just go on there and fill out all the information that they need. You can monetize it. People can help you support the Substack. Not that you can give them special benefits. You could hold special events for people who are paid subscribers. I don't push that at all. I want my thing to be as well read as much as possible. If people want to voluntarily support it, that's great, which I could use for other things in promoting my ideas on my other website, mafausa.com, Make Americans Financially Independent. You can see the two hats here, in green and black, Make Americans Financially Independent, which is basically what America was all about prior to the Great Depression. And we have to get back to that culture, to that ethic, to that value, that we are responsible for ourselves, not the government. And the government doesn't have the resources except what it takes from us. So basically the government is taking money out of our right pocket and putting it in our left pocket at a deep discount. And so what I suggest financially, which should be common sense, you would be much better off taking care of yourself, saving your own money. That's why these Trump accounts make sense, but we don't need the government putting $1,000 in, because the government doesn't have $1,000 unless it borrows it, because every extra dollar the federal government now spends has to be borrowed. And we're on our way to nearly a $2 trillion deficit this year, and the national debt is closing in on $40 trillion with interest expense of $1.2 trillion. So the federal government's finances are so out of whack. I think the founders, if they were alive today, would probably be writing another Declaration of Independence. And so I did the work for them. I did the Declaration of Reindependence, saying, listen, we need to restore the doctor-patient relationship. We need the ability to save more, which means cutting our taxes. We need to get the government out of areas that are not constitutionally authorized and don't make any sense, because the notion of human existence is that you work in a social environment where peace and prosperity and trade is a normal aspect of life, rather than the other things, which is organized theft, which is what people call the tax system, and having the U.S. government get involved in wars all over the planet. And the founders were very clear on this. They didn't want any entangling alliances with any power, especially Europe, because they looked at Europe's history and they said, look, these countries are going to war constantly. We don't want to get involved in that. We want to build our own country here in America. And we did that for many, many years. And hopefully it'll continue for many more centuries. But the point is, we need to take care of business at home, given all the problems we're facing here. And we're running these huge deficits we know are going to have a major problem down the road. And I'm on the record saying, if we don't fix this, we're going to have a major financial crisis in the next few years. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just means it'll be postponed.
Well, Dr. Sabrin, so your reintroduction of a different, or your re-Independence Day, it sounds like you're kind of wanting to start over almost, but I think there's a logical fallacy that only one person or like a whole government is the problem, but really it's the systems that are the problem. What specific systems do you think need to be changed? For example, you talk about the New Deal, and I've heard that the New Deal, people say that it ruined the presidency. Like, could that be a system that we fix?
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Before let's go to the break. That's a big question. Let's talk about, when we come back, you can have the whole segment. We can talk about that, the New Deal. I think that's a great question. The New Deal, and what are the systems that are leading up to our financial problems here in this country when we come back.
You know the rule. No phones at the dinner table.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just Noble Gold Investments. I bought some gold for the kids.
Finally.
Well, the gold you bought me gives me so much security in this economic disaster we're having. I want that for them too.
Well, I've been investing with Noble Gold Investments for years, and I'm pretty sure they can wait until after lunch.
Invest in something you can hold. Invest in Noble Gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to learn more.
West River Equipment of Mandan is here to help you maintain peak productivity in your operation. As an authorized dealer for many high-quality equipment lines, we have the new and used equipment it takes to make your farming, ranching, or construction operation profitable and efficient. West River Equipment also has the parts on hand and the experienced technicians in our shop to get your equipment back in action fast. Find what you need at West River Equipment on Old Red Trail in Mandan.
Find relief for what ails you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Teas, supplements, tinctures, and more. Formulated to fight whatever has you down. We're Bismarck Mandan's favorite place to find delicious, natural, and easy ways to alleviate symptoms brought on by anything from colds to cancer. Brew a better you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Steep Me products may cause side effects, including but not limited to improved mood, deeper sleep, enhanced hydration, renewed sense of smell, increased energy levels, superior balance, boosted immunity, proper digestion, restored sense of calm, and a delightful smelling home.
Welcome to Radiant Retreat Tanning and Spa in Mandan, where a relaxing spa experience meets the latest in healing innovations. Take total control of your massage in our Hydro Massage Bed. Experience whole body healing in our Zero Body Cryo Bed. Let our salt sauna and halo generator restore your respiratory and skin health. And of course, tailored tanning will keep you looking as good as you feel. Discover your best self at Radiant Retreat, 1307 1st Street Northeast, Mandan.
We're from North Dakota, where 12,000 workers bring electricity to 2 million customers and provide over $5 billion in economic activity to the state, while reclaiming 22,000 acres of land. This is coal country.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, and I want to welcome back our guest, Dr. Murray Sabrin, who is an economist, a historian, a financial expert, and he is big on America at 250. And we talked about, the re-independence of, we should have re-independence day. And right before the break, Cedar asked about, that it's kind of the systems that have cropped up, and she asked about the New Deal under FDR. And tell us about how did we get to where we are, where we have so much government control of our finances?
It's very simple. We had an unsustainable boom in the 1920s because the Federal Reserve was pumping money into the economy, and that gave us a stock market that was just unsustainable. And we know it crashed in September, October of 1929. Hoover was president. He was an activist Republican president. He didn't believe in laissez-faire, even though the historians painted him as a laissez-faire. He intervened massively in the economy, and that prolonged the Depression. And then when 1932 came around for his reelection, Roosevelt beat him easily, won over 400 electoral votes because we had 25% unemployment, the stock market was down 90%. And Hoover started the New Deal. People don't realize that. The economic policies of Hoover were called New Deal by a New York City economist. Then Roosevelt came in on a platform of cutting spending, restoring the gold standard, and doing the opposite of what Hoover did. Instead, he continued Hoover's policies, and that's why the Depression lasted for another decade. And so people look to Washington for benefits, welfare benefits, unemployment benefits, agricultural subsidies, propping up businesses. There were trade restrictions with the Smoot-Hawley tariff from 1930, which reduced international trade, causing trade wars all over the planet, and that imploded economic activity. And so the stage was set for Roosevelt and his fellow Democrats to basically increase the size of the federal government massively, as opposed to what happened after World War I, when we had a short-lived depression with Harding as president, and they didn't do anything to get us out of it. It just had the natural phases of the cycle, if you will, that got us out of the 1920-21 depression. Roosevelt changed the blueprint for future economic activity, where the government is now responsible for the health of the economy. That is the primary takeaway from what happened from 1929 to 33 and beyond. And so we have a New Deal, Great Society country where the government has so much power over economic activity, and that people are looking to Washington for benefits, starting with Social Security in 1935, Medicare and Medicaid in 1965, Obamacare, and all the other government social services that should be handled in the private sector or the nonprofit sector. And I've been promoting this for half a century now, since the 1970s. We need to get back to the original vision of the founders, which is the old republic. You're responsible for yourself. You work within your communities to solve local problems. That's why we had mutual aid societies before the Great Depression. We still have them. They're called nonprofits. We have them in health, education, food banks, housing, Habitat for Humanity, clothing, Goodwill, and other organizations like that. That is one of the great strengths of America that was recognized by de Tocqueville when he traveled in America in the 1820s and 30s. And he said, this is a great country because people are getting together voluntarily to solve problems and deal with issues and not looking to Washington. And that, I think, is something that we've missed over the several decades since the Great Depression, that people are looking to Washington when the culture should be anything that's peaceful, which is the title of a book by the founder of the Foundation for Economic Education, Leonard Read. He said anything that's peaceful should be accepted by the government, and the government should stay out of it, especially healthcare. I mean, we're spending so much money on healthcare, and we have terrible outcomes because people have so many health issues today. Adults have chronic conditions, they're taking medication, we're over-medicated, we're over-insured, and we need to really reestablish fundamental free enterprise principles in this country, because right now we have a lot of cronyism, and that's what the socialists are complaining about. They think that's free enterprise. No, it's cronyism. And so what they're doing is conflating cronyism with free enterprise, and that's why they become socialists. They think democratic socialism is the opposite of cronyism. No, democratic socialism is another form of cronyism. What I'm talking about is full-fledged free enterprise where there's no cronyism, there's no subsidies to business, no grants to business. It's go into the marketplace, provide a good service for people, If you do well, you're going to become extremely rich in this country. When I was teaching, the first thing I told my students in each class that I taught is come up with one good idea in America, you become wealthy. Come up with a super idea, you become super rich. And that has been the history of all these great entrepreneurs over the past 150 years.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a tough question. So there's a lot of redistribution of wealth, right?
Yep.
So socialism is creeping in. Okay, let's talk about it. What's happening? What can we do?
Well, this is why the schools have failed to teach young people our history, to teach what good economics is all about. Economics is about supply and demand, about prices, about free trade versus intervention. And I didn't teach that directly, but in my financial history class, we saw how intervention in the financial area led to all sorts of problems, especially with banking. The Federal Reserve is the most interventionist institution because they have the power to literally create money out of thin air, and they've created trillions of dollars, which is causing the inflation we're witnessing right now. So when they talk about affordability, I've never heard a democratic socialist pinpoint the problem of affordability. It's because the Federal Reserve creates money, that money spreads through the economy, raises rents, raises housing prices, raises medical care prices, raises food prices, and they don't talk about the cause of the problem.
So I would like to jump back into my point on saying that the New Deal ruined the presidency. Do you think the presidency has become too powerful? I know it was supposed to be way more checked. It's not supposed to be as powerful or more powerful than the Congress and the Senate and the judicial branch. Do you think Trump has overstepped with the things he's done? And in your reintroduction of the Declaration of Independence, you say it has attacked and killed foreign nationals on the high seas without due process and violating international law. So do you think Trump overstepped when they went and kidnapped the foreign leader?
Yeah. This is an extrajudicial type of activity on the part of the Trump administration. And I've been critical of every administration since the 1960s, when I became aware of all these problems that we're facing in this country. I mean, Johnson gave us an undeclared war. Truman gave us an undeclared war. The two Bushes gave us undeclared wars. We have undeclared wars since World War II. Why is that? Why aren't the members of Congress being counted for whether we go to war or not? Instead, the president, under the War Powers Act, can go to war, and then 60 days later, he has to go back to the Congress for a declaration, which hasn't happened. And so I believe that the Congress and the president has to follow the Constitution, because the Constitution is the oath that they take in order to be members of the government. And every president has used executive orders. To me, that is an example of autocracy, rather than going to the people's representatives and saying, listen, if the president wants this, this, and this, let's vote on it, let's debate it. And so the people will have their representatives on the line saying they voted for things that I don't agree with, so then at the next election I can vote for them or against them. So
right,
again,
and that's how it should be.
I mean, this is what democracy is supposed to be all about. People stand up in Congress and vote what they believe is good for the people of the country that they represent. And since we don't have that anymore for the most part, the president basically does do what he wants.
Dr. Sabrin, we've run out of time, but I know we're going to have you on again. So
we always run out of time when we're with you.
We can continue this conversation, always lively discussion. I think you need to be in the president's cabinet. You should be an advisor. But thank you. I'm glad you're advising our audience and us. So we'll have you on again soon, I'm sure.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And everyone should go to murraysabrin.substack.com and read my commentary about what's going on.
Amen. Okay, and then coming up next, it's time for the lighter side. We're going to see how a 4-year-old brought his whole community of neighbors together when we come back.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
Are you dealing with arthritis, nerve and back pain, dry skin, or superficial wounds, but found no relief? Give Stewart's Natural Health a try. For over 4 decades, Stewart's Natural Health has been helping people and animals with herbal and natural oil lotions, ointments, and creams with a mission to help you relieve pain and feel your best using the power of nature. Discover the safe, drug-free solution to your pain, guaranteed or your money back. Visit stewartsnatural.health today.
Welcome to where classy meets Wild West. Buffalo Gypsy Boutique of Bismarck has clothing, decor, and gifts ranging from sophisticated boho style to fun and flashy. Our exclusive brands such as Scully, Double D Ranch, and Tanner Mark provide standout style for the whole family, right down to the little ones. We always have a great selection of Kimes denim, and we proudly offer American-made jewelry and artwork. Find Buffalo Gypsy classing up North Bismarck just off Highway 83.
West River Equipment of Mandan is here to help you maintain peak productivity in your operation. As an authorized dealer for many high-quality equipment lines, we have the new and used equipment it takes to make your farming, ranching, or construction operation profitable and efficient. West River Equipment also has the parts on hand and the experienced technicians in our shop to get your equipment back in action fast. Find what you need at West River Equipment on Old Red Trail in Mandan.
Welcome to Arrowhead Cleaners. Newly renovated, modernized, and ready to make your cleaning needs hassle-free. From commercial and residential wash and fold laundry services to the latest in professional dry cleaning techniques, we are dedicated to your unique needs, offering alterations, fabrications, and even custom hat making. So whether you're a busy professional, a family on the go, or even a rodeo champion, Arrowhead Cleaners is here to take your things from messed up to dressed up. Now celebrating our 64th year in Arrowhead Plaza.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, and it's time for the lighter side,
Can't
my favorite
wait.
spot. These guys, they never know what's going to be on the lighter side, so you're seeing it
It's
for
a
the first
wonderful
time.
surprise every time.
And sometimes I stayed up really late last night trying to find something really uplifting. And this one, I love Steve Hartman, and so I'm tapping into him again on a little boy that brought his community together.
Not many kids crave connection more than this 4-year-old named Roman. Pass by his house in Concord, North Carolina, and he will surely greet you with a wave and a hey.
He wakes up every day excited to say hi to somebody. Like, that's the first thing he wants to do.
And yet, his mom, Anna Butzloff, says for the longest time, Roman's cheeriness belied an inner loneliness. About a year ago, his parents broke up. His dad moved to Florida, and his grandparents lived out of state too. Fortunately, all those waves, all those seeds of kindness he planted began to bloom, starting with Mr. Wade Fulgham, who lives across the street. Wade went over to meet the kid who was always waving. They started doing stuff together. Eventually, other neighbors followed suit, stopping to talk,
Say hi.
doing stuff, drag racing down the street. Anna says it was weird. I mean, she barely knew any of these people.
I didn't really know how to take it. I just saw that my son was happy.
Which is why she went along with it when Roman then began inviting many different neighbors to his soccer games, basketball games, and baseball games. Other neighbors came to his swimming lessons, and even his preschool open house. And when it came time for his birthday party, Anna knew the only people she needed to invite were his senior citizen neighbor friends.
He loves having us there, and he'll run up and hug us. And
We laugh that he has a lot of grandparents.
He does.
Because it's what he needs.
They've made such an impact on him. Like, they are really special people to him.
He's got a big beard. Today, the refrigerator is blanketed with pictures of all those people he holds so dear. His mom says his inner loneliness is gone, and his love thy neighbor attitude is spreading.
It caught on from there, just like, hey.
We all started waving at each other.
We see people, we wave at them, you know.
Roman has now brought together about a dozen neighbors who say they would have barely known each other if not for that little boy.
Look at you.
Who lived in a neighborhood, but needed a village.
Look at what this little kid has built.
It does a world of good.
If the world was like this child, what an awesome, awesome place it would be. I love you.
I love you too.
And to think that utopia
I do.
May only be a wave away. Steve Hartman on the road in Concord, North Carolina.
Okay, it's a lighter side. Why do we
Because
all have
we're
tears?
all crying. So we had a guest on about the intentional household and relationships and about family. And one of my questions was, what do you do if you don't have that family? You know, and what a perfect example. And kindness is free, and you sprinkle it, and you just never know what a wave or a smile or kindness can do.
Well, the reason I'm tearing up is because that little boy has figured out what most adults will never figure out in their life. And what he figured it out was taking his pain and his inner loneliness and using that to help others with that very same thing. Because many elderly people are very lonely, and just him building that community helped his loneliness and their loneliness. I'm just such a big believer in just being kind.
Yep.
You know,
And
to
he
people
brought,
you don't know.
I loved that they connected with him, but then I really loved that he brought the whole community together and they got to know each other, all because he was just saying hey and waving to people. And I love that you connected it to the intentional household. I wasn't even thinking about that.
And a lot of us don't even know our neighbors.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the truth, right? I just help you. What a wonderful example. Be kind, wave, say hi. You never know what a difference it can make for someone.
And speaking of community, the other day I met some wonderful Beck TV supporters, and thank you. You are the beating heart of Beck TV and Ladies of Another View, and I hope to see more of you out and about.
So we just want to say, hey, we love you guys. And thank you for joining us once again. We'll see you next time with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
We are the St. Mary Sisters. We are building a new facility here in Bismarck, North Dakota, for the sake of training young women to be courageous teachers in this state. The Sisters will educate the younger generation to be fully alive through truth and discipline. The Sisters' life of devotion and joy will make a positive difference in your community. Check out what we're up to, see what's going on, and join our mission to make a difference in the lives of the children of North Dakota.
I'm Gary Ameneth, host of Open Range. We've been at this for the past couple years. Representative Matt Heilman of Bismarck and former legislator Brandon Pritchard are going to do some regular segments on Open Range. While we cover a lot of politics, we're still going to be continue doing mostly all things North Dakota. One exception, Friday evening, I'll be doing a new show on Open Range called On the Horn. This show will be long interviews of 3 to 5 hours with the people I'm interviewing. They'll be airing week after week on that Friday evening. So thank you for being a part of the Beck TV and Open Range family.
Come on in and experience small town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and the team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. The Set Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I want to tell you, Lady Blue and I, we got a lot of miles together, but you know what? You and I got a lot of miles together as well. And all I want to do is bring to you the information on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations. So I'm going to continue to travel the world and unearth the stories that make it possible that we can live in a free United States of America.
I'm Corey Heppola, and a long time ago I left my small town for a big city. Now I wonder, what would it be like to move rural?
Just because we're small doesn't mean we can't have nice things.
This is my town.
Man, it's mad love up in here.
Sunday night, 6:30 on Beck TV.